So I want to talk about a very delicate topic, a very delicate subject. Um, I wanted to talk about how can we possibly reduce the chances of rape and sexual assault. And I believe if we ever really truly want to reduce the chances of that happening, we have to look deeper than stopping those who have committed the acts of these crimes. We have to look deeper into just helping the victims. And of course, we have to stop the people that have committed these crimes. We have to punish the people that have committed these crimes in some way, educate them in some way, and ensure that they never do that again. And of course, we have to be there for the survivors and ensure that they get the emotional support that they need through going through something like this. And I believe people who come out about sexual assault and rape are very brave people, because that something like that happening to you is a very traumatizing sort of thing to happen, and I could not imagine the experience that those kinds of people have went through. I cannot imagine the amount of emotional damage that those people went through, and I cannot imagine the sort of trauma that is left in their life, and they have to live with it all the way throughout. And that would be absolutely horrifying to live with, in my personal opinion. Um, but I believe if we truly want to make amends to stopping this sort of behavior, we have to look deeper, we have to dig deeper, and into something that many people haven't even given thought about. And I'm really surprised that so many people have not given thought about this. The way that we educate our children and our society is the way that we base how they will grow up, what kind of people they will become. And if we put people in a society to feel that they need to be masculine, like toxic masculinity is a very big problem as well. If people grow into a society where they feel that they need to fit in with the rest of the group, and these people feel like they need to be more masculine and look down upon other types of people who don't fit that quota of being as masculine, that creates problems not only within the people who have this big ego about themselves being manly. It also creates issues for the people who are viewed as weak. And those people who are viewed as weak, if constantly shunned and shunned again, they will go out and commit serious acts of violence or sexual violence just to prove a point. People with serious mental conditions will go out and hurt other people just to prove their worth to others. And we have to understand that these people, before they commit those acts, are just normal people. After they commit those acts, they're normal people who have now done something terrible. And so we no longer view them as normal people. We view them as monsters, these bad people, and we shun them and we shame them and we tell them how bad they are and how terrible people they are. And they can either feel bad about themselves or accept that about themselves and just acknowledge that that's who they are, and in some way justify their means. Um, it doesn't need to be like that. The society we live in, it doesn't need to be as horrendous as that. The way that we teach our children is mostly the most important type of nurture that we could really. I feel as though the way that we teach our children is the most important thing that we need to worry about. The philosophy behind it, the psychological factors behind it, plays a huge part in it. It affects how they will grow up and what kind of people they will become when they grow up. Between ages 5 to 8, our brain is very fragile. Between ages 2 to 6, if children do not get the appropriate emotional support, they will likely grow up with a lot of emotional issues and insecurities. If children do not receive any emotional support or have their needs attended between or go through a very traumatizing experience between the ages of 7 to 12, they will grow up with a mass amount of, or not mass amount, but with a level of anxiety depending on the severity of the emotional support that they were not given when they were between the ages of 7 to 12. They will grow up to lack, not lack, but have some sort of anxiety, whether it be social anxiety or any other kinds of anxiety. And it will be more difficult for them to communicate with others effectively, especially if, and this can happen through something so small, such as, I shouldn't really say small, but something that seems so delicate, so fragile. For example, bullying can mess with somebody's mind and turn them into a very anxious person just because they were bullied at that age. Being abused by their parents can result to that as well. Neglected by their parents can result to that. Not giving their emotional support, not having their emotional needs given properly can result to that. Between ages 13 to 19, if children are not guided in a correct manner, or I should say, are not given the right support or are shunned, constantly told, you're a bad kid, you're a troublemaker, you're a bad person, and they will grow up much more likely to become criminals and commit acts of deviance and acts of violence and crime. And these are things that I've studied during my time in while reading, or not while reading, while I was taking my child development course. And from learning from this, I begun to realize that it's possible for anybody to grow up in a certain manner that leads them to going out and committing very devious acts, such as things with sexual violence or rape, sexual assault. One thing in particular, if a child, if a man, or if a boy is told when they're a little kid, their father praises them whenever they get girlfriends and all that stuff, and the guy never really gets a girlfriend, and the dad shuns them for that. If the dad keeps shunning the child for that, how dare you not have a girlfriend yet? What's wrong with you? You're not ugly. What's wrong with you? That creates more anxiety. The kid will grow up becoming more anxious around girls because he'll feel like he needs to try harder to connect a relationship with that girl so that he can make his father proud. Or if his friends keep talking about how many girls they get or something to that effect, or it keeps sexualizing females, then that's going to constantly play with someone's head and make them think, okay, so females are very sexualized, and it creates this illusion that women are these sexual objects sort of idea, and they feel like they need to support, or not support, but to obtain something from them. So they'll go out, try and talk to them, and if the girl doesn't like them,